everyone. Welcome to my home, my very colorful home. This is actually my laundry room, believe it or not. My laundry is behind there, but not a bad room to relax in. And I do most of my podcasting from here, although I move all about the house usually. I'm taping this video today. It's Saturday, it's July 29th, 2023. And I wanted to talk a little bit about Sinead O'Connor, who died Wednesday, July 26th, at the age of 56. Um, Obviously, her song "Nothing Compares to You" was the song that they played at my high school grad. It was a song that people were slow dancing to, and I was a young woman at the time that she became so famous, with that juggernaut of a song, written by Prince. I just thought I'd just share a few thoughts about her and talk about her, because I was not like a crazy fan of hers. And to be, well, she's amazing, but I wasn't. She wasn't on my list or whatever, right? And the funny thing is, I love Prince. I absolutely, anyone that knows me knows how much I love Prince still. But, and I know that Prince wrote Nothing Compares to You, but it's like actually not one of my favorite songs by her. It just, whenever I hear it, it just is such a Debbie Downer of a sad song that it doesn't, it doesn't actually jingle my bells. But that doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is that was just a massive success. Beautiful song, showcased her amazing voice, and launched her into superstardom, which, whether she wanted it or not, I think was well deserved for what it was. Interesting that Prince wrote the song, because I think we're learning now that Prince was just so awake, and maybe, obviously they collaborated, maybe they influenced each other, and she was so incredibly awake and or incredibly brave. I think we don't, maybe talk about her. I guess what I wanted to talk about today was how impactful her ripping that picture of the Pope up was. Here's a song of Sinead that I actually liked a little bit better. I remember having her cassette and stuff like that. And she had a song called Mandinka, which I thought was not a bad song. Here's another song that I thought was a pretty good song. I kind of like this one a little more. Here's a chorus. Yeah, that was pretty rad. She's very, very cool, and that's such a sexy song. It's like, she's saying, "I want your hands on me. Put your hand, put them on me. Put them on me." But she's not acting like a hoe in the video. She's just cute. She's almost laughing at the lyrics that she's saying. She's not all WAP on us or whatever. She's just adorable, pretty rad in her leather jacket and shaved head. So pretty, like so pretty. She doesn't even have to try to be pretty. And that works. And that's probably one of my favorite songs by her. Like I was saying before, I wanted to talk a little bit just about how brave it was for her to rip that picture up of the Pope on SNL. My God. And I remember at the time when she did it, it was 1992. I didn't know why she did that, because here she is taking a picture of what we've all been of the Pope, Pope John Paul II. And we've all been brought up to believe that, uh, for the most part, that this is the head of the Vatican or whatever. This is a man of God, the figurehead of the Catholic Church, and she took his picture and ripped it up. And I was like, "Oh my God, why did she do that? Oh, she's gonna be in trouble." And then I never looked into it after that. I never thought about it. She would just became vilified and hated. For doing something as brave as that. But now I look back on her and I say, girl, you were onto something. Let's have a look.
We find it necessary. We know we will win. We have confidence in the victory of good over evil. Fight the real enemy.
Whoa, right? Even watching that so many years later, it's like, oh my God, you are brave. You are an artist. You, I mean, that was, first of all, her voice and her singing was exquisite. Imagine just singing like that a cappella on national American television on a big show like SNL. And just the set, you've got the candles and the silence, and you're doing that a cappella, and you have the balls to take that picture in a country that's not your own country and rip that up. Fuck, I thought I was brave. Jesus Christ, right? And of course, she was raked over the coals for that. But I want to get into a little bit about why that was so important and why that made so much sense. But I want to show you an interview she did at the time on, of all things, Entertainment Tonight, who I'd never seen this before. Let's have a look at this.
I am trying to fight child abuse, which I believe to be the proof of the existence of evil in the world.
We know we will win. We have confidence in the victory of good over evil.
Yeah, to me the Pope symbolises everything that is evil. He is a symbol in particular. That picture is of him when he did his tour of Ireland. Ireland has the highest instance in Europe of child abuse. I experienced it myself, and I found his presence in Ireland, telling the young people of Ireland that he loved them, hilarious. At least when I studied the history, I found out that the people who were responsible for telling lies in the first place were the Vatican, who through permitting the invasion of countries and the destruction and murder of entire races of people in the name of God and for money, and then their subsequent overtaking of the educational systems of all the countries that they went into led to distortion of historical fact, similar to the type of distortion of fact that you see going on in the media, for example. And that is what has led to the murder of the human spirit, which has in turn led to the abuse of children, to put it in a nutshell.
Fight the real enemy.
When did you decide to do this?
I mean, I decided in about the week beforehand. I mean, they were upset with me because I kind of tricked them a bit, but I did that because I thought they wouldn't let me, like in England or Ireland, there's no way they'd let you do that, whereas they were upset because apparently they would have let me, and they were annoyed that I, assumed they didn't.
There was like dead silence when you were down with the number. What was going through your mind at that point?
Jesus, I don't know. It was very highly charged. Couple of minutes, basically to get out of there as quickly as possible. There was silence. It was funny because after the first song there was loads of people around and they all came into the dressing room and everything, but then after that there was nobody around. There was silence for about half an hour. There was nobody around.
Discredited and abandoned, everywhere is war.
If I hadn't done that, we wouldn't be sitting here now clarifying all these things. So it was to create discussion, to create the circumstances under which I would be asked these questions. The message I am giving is that the church must be brought down, destroyed. Their days are numbered. They must be brought down. So to rip up the picture is what I'm saying. Yes, it is offensive to people because they've built their lives on this belief, and it is going to be offensive, yes, and many people will not survive it. But it has to happen. You know what I mean? God says, I bring not peace, I bring a sword. That's the way it goes. And we can't heal ourselves unless we fight the right enemy, the right cause. It's no good just dealing with the symptoms.
You see how much sense she's making there and what she's talking about, and who fight the real enemy. It's just extraordinary to me to watch that, to see her. There's nothing about her that like looks crazy or anything. Look at the way she's speaking. She's speaking from her heart. She's speaking the truth. She's speaking like what a lot of us think now. And it's just, and now this is so much in the forefront now. My God, how ahead of your time must you be if you're bringing this up then? Now this is all, everybody's thinking about this now because of movies like The Sound of Freedom. And there is Whether we want to think about it or not, we all know there is a massive problem with child abuse and child molestation. Just think about your own life. I don't think there are too many people that have not been touched, so to speak, by it. I mean, come on, think about it. Now, think about it on this huge scale as to what she's speaking about, and think about it as to what that movie, Sound of Freedom, is trying to depict. All these horrific child brothel type things going on all over the world, all these unaccompanied minors coming up to the US border, being collected by their sponsor. I'm here to pick up Jose Gonzalez, and yep, he's mine, off you go. And the taxpayers pay sometimes for the transit to get him to the sponsor, where this child will be abused for God knows how long. I mean, this is happening. So I believe that somebody's day of reckoning is coming. But back to Sinead and the church and the Vatican, and particularly the Catholic Church. And I sort of, just based on my, rudimentary research or whatever, I mean, there are mass grave sites said to take place, and child abuse said to take place in the catacombs of the Vatican, of private estates, of groves. Have we heard of groves? Bohemian Grove is one of them. Military bases. I mean, I'm not going to say too much more about that because I'm scared of people, But, we've heard of these underground things. If you could say this is rabbit hole stuff, but it doesn't seem to be. It really doesn't seem to be. And whether you want to go down that sort of MK Ultra human hunting party rabbit hole, you can look into that kind of stuff for yourself. But apart from that, there is no denying the harm. It's well known, the trouble that has gone on in churches with Catholic priests. It is well known, well documented, the trouble that has gone on in Catholic schools, particularly in Canada. We are one of the worst, for God's sake. At least 34 mass graves were identified in Ireland, where Sinead's from, Spain, and Canada, but they were refused excavation by the government, the Crown of England, and the Catholic Church. I mean, it's incredible. There's a documentary I want to show you a little clip of, but we're here on YouTube, so I don't know how much I can actually say about that.
In Ireland, Spain, and Canada, 34 child mass grave sites were discovered and appeared linked to Ninth Circle activities. The largest was the Mohawk Indian Residential School in Brantford, Ontario, where child remains were identified in 2008 before the Catholic Church, Canadian government, and English Crown shut down the dig by professional archaeologists for the October 10, 1964 disappearance of 10 Native children from the Catholic Residential School in Kamloops, British Columbia.
But I just wanted to say, Sinead O'Connor, gone at 56 years old. The latest is that they say, Metropolitan Police in London say that her death is not considered suspicious. Fine. Really? I don't know. I mean, how did she die? Nobody's allowed to ask how anyone dies these days. Certainly we were allowed to ask certain questions if you wanted to get a Bellini in a friggin' restaurant. So, but you're not allowed to ask, how dare you? How dare you ask? What happened to Jamie Foxx? How dare you ask? What happened to Ray Liotta? How dare you ask? What happened to Justin Bieber? Oh, don't ask. What happened to Hailey Bieber? Don't ask. What happened to Bob Saget? Don't ask. What happened to Gilbert Gottfried? Oh, we're not going to say. Like the list goes on and on. People dropping. What happened to all these athletes having heart attacks and cardiac arrests, and Damar Hamlin and all? Don't ask. Oh, we're not going to talk about it. Don't ask. Just don't ask. Well, it's very sad. Sinead, 56, not that old at all. You're a young woman. You're a young woman at that age. And I hope that we get to find out what happened. I mean, we sort of, it used to be that a celebrity died and we'd say, oh, well, of cancer, or had a brain aneurysm, or there was a skiing accident, or you used to be able to know how people passed. And now we just don't know. We're just left to go, well, they just died. They just died suddenly. And we just don't know. One other thing that I thought was very interesting about the SNL thing is that I was sort of thinking that maybe they were in on it, SNL, but it's just it seems like they weren't. It's just that they probably knew she was going to sing to camera so they could get like a sort of medium close up, more than that. It wasn't a close up, but it was like sort of a medium close up on her, so she could hold that picture up, so we could clearly see the Pope. And she ripped it up. And the director knew to take that shot, and she knew that that was her camera to look into. So that, some of that has to be pre-planned, because the director could have done a wide shot, a director could have done some panning shot or something like that while she was singing, or done like a slow zoom in on her or something, so that when she ripped the picture up, he might not have gotten the shot. Just think, the director got that shot nice and clear, the money shot, right? So it made me think, well, was this planned a little bit? But I guess not, because she's saying, I guess not. Maybe she just knew that that was her camera to look into. But as somebody who's worked with cameras and has directed things, you think, like, you got to get that shot. So how do you get the shot? You have to know that the shot, you have to have some planning. Or not all the time. You do it quite spontaneously too, right? If you're cutting sports or whatever, or cutting a live chat or something like that. But I don't know. He was framed up just perfectly. I'm just saying. One other note I wanted to say, I worked with this woman. I'm not going to say her name. I just want to keep her privacy at Global, her privacy private. And she was really feeling very pressured about getting the jab and stuff like that. And she didn't want to get it. And she was just feeling very uneasy about everything that was going on. And she said to me privately that she thought that something to do with all of this was about human trafficking. And at the time, I didn't understand what she meant. And I'm cluing into it a bit now, but I didn't understand how that part of it all fit together, and really what she meant by all that. And then she didn't talk about it anymore. She didn't want to talk about it. And then she said, oh, it's okay. Like, you won't understand what I'm saying. And we just kind of just left it there. But I always remembered that she said that. And I think, no matter what in life, the truth always comes out. The truth always comes out, doesn't it? You can't hide for very long. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think about Sinead O'Connor or some of the comments I've made today. I think she was a very beautiful and brave woman, beautiful voice, total, complete artist, and very, very sad news to hear that she passed. But we're hearing a lot of sad news lately, right? We're getting kind of used to it. And thank you so much for watching this video today. Hey, if you like what you just saw, please hit the like button. That would help me out a lot. And if you can subscribe, that would be wonderful. If you want to subscribe on YouTube, that would be great. I'm still on there, haven't gotten kicked off yet this time around. And my Rumble channel, AK Straight Speaks, if you want to subscribe there also, I'm happy to see you there. Also, please check out some links in the description if you would like to support my work. That would be wonderful. And another thing I wanted to say is that my website is anitakrishna.com. I do have an email there. You can email me at hello@anitakrishna.com. And I really want to hear from businesses. If you struggled during the pandemic, if you just managed to stay afloat. I mean, if so much hardship was put upon you unfairly, I want to hear your story. But if you've survived now, I want to hear the comeback story also. And I'm looking for people who might want to do some sponsorship work with me also for businesses. I can, advertise your product and also maybe do a little story on you if I feel a connection and I feel like, you need to be heard, because there's so many businesses out there that need to be heard. On another note, I am working with some people to develop my website a little more extensively. And I would like to also hear from smaller businesses and producers, like whether you make coffee or soaps, products, jams. And if you are a business, this kind of cottage industry, grassroots, up and coming business, I want to help you, because Walmart's always going to make money. Amazon's always going to make money, but it's the little guy and the skill of actually making soap or making coffee or making bread or doing things that are very, organic, all these specialized skills, I believe they need attention too. And so you can advertise on my website and we can work out some deals, how we can help you and you can help me also. And, and something that's cost effective, that's not going to gouge anybody. That's kind of what I'm all about, is just being fair, but giving exposure wherever I can to anybody who deserves exposure. You can also catch me on Awake Freedom TV. There's a link in the description. You just click on that link and find out how you can watch that. You can watch that on your Roku TV. You can watch me on your Roku TV on a YouTube app or a Rumble app. On any of my videos, there will be a link in the description. If you click on that link, you will find out how you can download the app on your Roku TV and help get that app in the homes of many people. That always helps. Anyway, okay. Thank you guys. Thanks so much. Always check out the links in the description because there's lots of info in there. And we will see you next time.